Hey everybody, this is Everyday Commentary, and this is a video overview of this knife. This knife is the A Purvis Blades Progeny MR. The Progeny MR is a cheaper, slightly smaller version of the Progeny, which is now in its version 2 production. This is a knife that is designed by A Purvis of A Purvis Knives and is produced by Bestech. This is the first Bestech made knife I have had a chance to review. And I'm going to do what I do in all my overviews. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the specs, the price, what I like and what I don't like. So let's get into it. So this knife weighs just under 3 ounces, and I'll show why in a second. It has a 3.25-inch blade, and it's just under, where did my, oh, there we go. It's just about a 1/2 inch thick without the blade. There are a couple different versions of this knife. There's a black G10, an orange G10, and this version, which is a green micarta. As you can see, there's a little bit of contouring to the handle scales, and ready for this? Super cool. Only one liner. Micarta on this side. Nested stainless steel on this side. This knife, just like I showed you, is full of a bunch of awesome details. Let me give you a size comparison. So this is a knife versus the Benchmade mini grip, and as you can see, it's appreciably bigger than the Benchmade mini grip. Lay them end to end. Yeah, you can see it's definitely bigger. That's not a great angle. Yeah, it's definitely bigger. Here it is next to a AA battery. And yep, Amazon Basics, they are a great buy in batteries. And here it is. Let's see if I can open it. Yeah, here it is in the hand. As you can see, the knife doesn't really have a choil, but it does have a really good index notch here. And there's a bunch of other cool things. So the first things up that I like. So I like the weight. I like the blade ratio to the weight. That's really good. And I like a lot of the thoughtful details. So let's go through and sort of catalog the thoughtful details that A Purvis has put into this design. So he's done a really nice, relatively small flipper tab. I mean, he's put some jimping on it, but he's also done a good job of chamfering, or having Bestech chamfer the jimping. So the end result is a knife that you can flip all day long and not wear a hole in your finger, which is pretty cool. And it never really misses a flip, so that's a good thing. That finger jimping is excellent. Here's another thing that's a really cool small detail. You can see it right there. There is some, there you go. There is some chamfering done right in what I like to call the flight path your finger takes. So when you flip the knife open, it goes right into this really comfortable spot. You're not hitting any sharp corners. You're not hitting sharp corners on the edges of the scales or at the rear of the flight path. And that's a really, really great small touch that I like a lot. Here's another thing that I really like a lot. If you look at the blade when it's open, you can see that there is excellent accessibility to this detachment point for the liner lock. You just ride your finger up, you hit that, and it closes. You don't have to wedge your fat of your thumb pad in anywhere. It just is easily accessible all the way around. Those are just some of the nice thoughtful touches. Look at this one. He's de-spiked the end of this stainless steel pocket clip, or the sculpted titanium pocket clip. And this is really an excellent sculpted pocket clip. There's a reason why. Adam does a lot of upgrades for other knives by making aftermarket pocket clips. So he really knows his pocket clip geometry, and the Progeny MR shows. The knife costs about $138, so that's right in sort of the new mid-range for knives. It's cheaper than this knife by about $40, but it's also more expensive than other knives, such as like the Spyderco Dragonfly. It's right at that price point where you're like, I'm a serious knife fan, but this isn't the nicest knife I own. And he did that specifically so that people could get into his knife designs without spending as much as he would on a regular Progeny, which is close to $300. I also like the size of this knife. The knife size is just right. It's not too big. It's not too small. Just right. I could see carrying a smaller version of this knife and liking it. I don't think I would want a much larger version of this knife. So I like the size. The last thing that I like is this. Let's see if I can get my fingers. You are right. Because of the way the blade is designed, your contact with the surface, the cutting surface that you're coming, is very, very early in the process. You can get almost your entire finger underneath, all your fingers underneath the handle, and still have the knife blade in almost complete contact with the cutting medium. That is great. That is a great design. The Spyderco Spider Chef does this, and it just makes cutting so much easier and so much more enjoyable of an experience. It is a really, really nice design feature. Those are the main things I like about the knife. I like the price. I like the thoughtful design hints, like the single liner and the one. There is a little bit of a stainless steel liner, but it's really just for the track for the bearings and the flight path here. I like all of that. A couple things I don't like. First of all, and this is like a really weird thing. I don't know why, but I don't like this dull stripe down the middle. You can see that there's like a degree of shininess here and a degree of shininess here, but not right here. It's like that scene in Tommy Boy, like not here and here, but right here. And I don't know why that bothers me, but it does. It's sort of like if you wanted to do this look, go all matte or all gloss, but don't do half and half. It just looks like the knife got like sort of half finished. And it's not a matter of oil. Sometimes you get micarta handles, and if you oil them up, I've oiled this one up and it doesn't change the look. So that's the first thing I don't like, and that's not really a big thing. This is something that might actually be a big thing. I'm going to use a sample piece of paper for a plan I have. You can almost catch the tip of the knife. I mean, it is really close there. Really, really close. So it's not actually out, and I can't catch my finger, but it does not inspire confidence, especially when you compare it to something like that. It is really close to the edge. So it's a hypothetical concern, but not an actual concern. The final thing I would say that I'm a little worried about on this knife is this point right here. So the knife kind of comes to a point on both sides, and when you go to flip the knife, you sort of put the point right into the meat of your palm, and then you hit the knife, and as you do, you kind of get this little pokey action. I very, very carefully sanded it down just a little bit. I kind of give it a hit here and a hit here, and kind of hit on the insides, and then a little hit on the outside on my work sharp. And the result is it's significantly less pokey. But out of the box, of all the concerns, that was probably my least favorite thing. Overall, I really like the knife. The flipping action is butter. I mean, look at this. You can kind of just do like a gravity drop here. Once you bust the detent out of the detent path, it kind of just falls down. That's all really great. One note, and I'm not sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing. This runs 154 cm, and that's not like the most advanced steel in the world. But if you're gonna cut corners, that's a good way to cut money off the price. I would prefer a better steel, and I don't think that $140 for something like 20 CV is all that outrageous, given that the mini Ritter is that exact thing, $140 with 20 CV. You know, but it's not a good thing because I don't like the steel as much as I would like a better steel, but it's also not a bad thing because it does give them a way to do some cost savings and not really affect the knife's performance. I mean, 154 cm is perfectly fine for an everyday carry knife. You're never going to have a situation where you're like, I hate this steel. It's a very decent steel. It sharpens relatively easily, and it holds an edge plenty long for normal cutting tasks. But it's just an interesting point. It doesn't really fit neatly into either category. It's something you should know, but I don't think it really, it's interesting from a knife production perspective, but it's probably not a big deal for knife carrying. So this is the A Purvis Progeny MR. It's a knife I really like. I am looking forward to sitting down and giving it a score. Look for a written review in a month or so. Thanks.